So what we did as a management team is assess the ability to increase the 5-ton per hour test plant into a 15-ton per hour facility, an operating facility. And what we found is if we replaced the ball mill and certain other components and increased the tailings facility, we were able to do that quickly and cost effectively.
Well, hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Stephen Mullowney, who is CEO and Director of Tanzanian Gold Corporation. Tanzanian Gold Corporation are advancing and expanding the Buckreef Gold Project in the Lake Victoria Greenstone Belt in Tanzania. Stephen, great to see you today. To start things off, you've just released your quarterly production results for your oxide project there at Buckreef. Tell us a little bit about the numbers you're hitting there.
Yeah, thank you, Leo, for asking me to join here this evening. The Buckreef test plant has been doing extremely well. It's been operating for approximately a year. It's given us the results that we want and confidence to expand that plant and also to expand into a much larger facility in the 40 tons per hour, 1,000 tons per day facility, which we're in the process of procuring. So the results have been good around production, the handling of clays, the training of staff, reconciliations, and ultimately recoveries as well. We're in our final test phase for that plant as we speak, focusing really on recovery rates. And that's going well, and expect to hear some news on that in the next couple of months.
And as you mentioned, you're looking to do an expansion eventually to sort of fit, first of all, to 15 tons per hour, and then looking to do another expansion to get another 40 tons per hour in there. What are the sort of timelines for that expansion do you expect?
Yeah, so Leo, one of the things is, as a lot of market participants realize, we're a new management team. So one of the things that we did is we're expanding to a much larger processing plant in the 40 tons or 1,000 tons per hour day, 10,000 tons per day capacity amount. But we wanted to, in the interim, keep our staff, keep the momentum going on site. So what we did as a management team is assess the ability to increase the 5-ton per hour test plant into a 15-ton per hour facility, an operating facility. And what we found is if we replaced the ball mill and certain other components and increased the tailings facility, we were able to do that quickly and cost effectively. So the time period for that, the ball mill has been ordered. It's in Tanzania as we speak. The other components have been ordered and are on site. Tanks are being built. We should be having that facility to 15-ton per hour operating within the September-October time period. With the expansion of a much larger separate, it's going to be on a different part of the special mining license, a 40 tons or 1,000 ton per day facility, taking about 12 months to construct. So the 15 tons provides us with positive cash flow at Buckreef to reinvest in the business, as well as the flexibility around the construction period and around the 40 ton. So it's a good little project that really, came to fruition over the last couple of months.
I mean, you mentioned positive cash flow there. In terms of your sort of all-in sustaining costs, how are they looking?
Yeah, with regards to remember the 15 ton per hour is still a small facility. When we went through and scrubbed our numbers and put together our forecast, we're expecting to have, I believe, C1 cash cost in around $750 an ounce on average, and all-in sustaining cost, a little bit higher than that. I believe we put into our release around $850 an ounce. So, they're looking pretty favorable. Remember, as we expand to even a larger facility, our expectation would be that those costs would continually come down. But we're still doing that work, and I would say we will be finished that in the next month or so.
Absolutely. What we've been talking about so far is obviously the oxide component of your project. You're also, I believe, looking at the sulfide component. You've done some metallurgical test work there. What was that demonstrating about your sulfide deposit?
Yeah, thank you, Leo, for that question. I think people should remember that the oxide component is only around 5 to 7% of the overall resources at Buckreef, and we have over 2 million ounces in the measured and indicated category at 1.8 grams a ton. So the sulfide component is where a lot of the value really lies. The initial metallurgical test results from SGS Lakefield in Canada were quite encouraging. 2 out of the 3 samples were well over 90%, I believe 93, 94%. And then Another one was around 86%. We know how to get that over 90%. But the key factors coming out of that study, the initial study, is the fact that it's a straightforward flow sheet with a flotation, regrind, CIL into doré. So that's great. And then that sort of flow sheet has been used in other mines and other greenstone belts in the world, particularly Canada. I believe Newmont's Eleanor mine in Quebec utilizes that, and then Alamos's mine in Canada also utilizes that flow sheet as well. So, that's a positive. Another really big positive is the tailings weren't seen to be acid generating. It's non-refractory, no preg robbing, all of those sort of factors, no arsenic, all those sort of factors leading us to look at dry stack tailings as opposed to wet tailings. So overall, I was extremely pleased with the study. I haven't seen a study like that in a while.
And you're now advancing, I believe, a sort of final feasibility study for the sulfide treatment plant. Yeah, how's that going? How's that proceeding?
That's going fairly well. So, the first stage of that is confirming the metallurgy in the first 1 to 5 years of potential production. That's the key to that sort of study, and hopefully we get the same results we got in the preliminary metallurgical study. And then we're going to assess whether we can modularize this sort of project or go all at one point in time. We have those options, particularly if it continues to be a straightforward flow sheet. So, the study's going quite well. I think it's, people should remember, we are on a special mining license, which means that we're able to go into production fairly quickly because we have the overarching permit. So we do have the option of modularizing the project as well, and probably moving up some of the sulfide production if we so desire, and if the economics come out to be good around that. So I think that's an important aspect of this, is that this property has a lot of flexibility in order to get into production. We will have a final feasibility study, but it may not be necessary to go into production in the sulfides.
Absolutely. We've talked about production so far, but obviously exploration is another part of the story. And you've had some interesting results recently. New discoveries at Buckfield West and the Anfield zone. Tell us a little bit about what you found there and what that means for the overall resource potential.
So when we're looking at putting together a business plan, and we have, oxide production coming online fairly quickly, and then we're going to have sulfides going online over time through our feasibility study and getting work done on that. What we wanted to do is make sure that we had exploration potential around our property. We're always comfortable with the resource expansion potential of the main zone, which is what's published in the market currently. But, in this region in Tanzania, it's very prospective. So it's very, we're very pleased to have found and discovered 2 other shear zones in close proximity to our main zone. One is Buckreef West, which is just adjacent. We have, some really good results on the surface there, which means that we're probably going to the oxides and the sulfides, given that it's at depth. And then what was a really pleasant discovery is the Anfield zone. So we had a resource in the eastern porphyry. When we got our boots on the ground and got our geologists at the office, we noticed quite extensive artisanal workings. The artisanals are predominantly not there now, but when you look at those workings, it is clear that there's another trend there, and that it should be drilled out. And the grab samples, which came from underground, they're not just on the surface, they came from underground from some of those artisanal workings, came out very well at 28 grams a ton and 30 grams a ton. So they were into a pretty good zone. So look, it's really good. And we're trying to get to a point where we can get a producing asset that produces a significant number of ounces with some great resource upside. And it's taken the management team some time to put that together and get the plan really tight, but it is coming together. We're pretty excited by it.
When would you hope to sort of get some more drills in the ground there?
There's a drill rig on site now, so we'll be looking to get some drills on the ground in the next month or so.
Excellent. And we talked a little bit about the management team there, but there's been quite a sort of freshening up of the management team this year. Tell us about how that's gone.
Look, one of the things, I came on board in December of last year. My first goal was to recapitalize the enterprise and stabilize the business. So, and part of that, the project is a good project. So I look at assets first. That's why I'm here. Then you got to have some people around it in order to execute it appropriately. So we brought on Andrew Cheeto as Chief Operating Officer. Andrew has a great reputation in the mining industry, very well known, both from a geological perspective and as well as an operator. And then we brought on Mike Leonard, a former Barrick executive, who is, as our CFO. He's had experience at Barrick in FP&A or financial reporting, as well as leading their investor relations program. So kind of a soup to nuts executive from within Barrick, which leads really well into what we're doing. And we recently hired Khalaf Rashid, who's a Tanzanian executive who's very well connected in the business community and in government in Tanzania to help us on those aspects. And we also put in place 2 new co-general managers at Buckreef who have experience in the region, are from the region, went out throughout Africa and the world, got some really great experience, and now back home. So we're really excited with the way the management team has been, forming out.
Excellent. So you've got a new management team there in place. You've got exploration on the way. You're ramping up production. So what are the key things you think sort of investors should be looking out for over the next quarter?
Look, there's a lot going on. So I don't know another junior that has the same things going on. Basically, you got everything going on all at one time. So some of the key things that I would look out for is although the 15 ton per hour is a small project, it is a really good project from an economics perspective. Gets Buckreef operating cash flow positive that can be reinvested in business. So that's one of the catalysts. The next is moving forward a feasibility study. The next is just, coming out to the market and displaying what we believe we have on the exploration side of things and how we're going to lay that out. And to continue moving forward of the project. I'm very excited. There's a lot going on. And there's a lot of potential catalysts here. It's on production, it's on exploration, and it's on moving a study forward. So I'm extremely excited. A lot of work to do. I get tired some days, but with my background, I like to be a high performer. So looking very much forward to moving everything forward all at once.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck as all your plans come together, and we hope you can come back and tell us all about it a little bit further down the track.
That'd be great, Leo, and thank you very much for having me on this evening. I know it's evening Hong Kong time.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Stephen Mullowney.
Yeah, thank you.